Could you tell us about your character in the story?
Well, the story is simply this. In 1963, John Kennedy is very fearful that there's going to be a nuclear holocaust because of lack of control of present governments. So he sends a secret mission of 600 people, hand-chosen, representing what he wanted the future to be, on a 100-year journey to another planet, where we believe life can be sustained, but we're not sure. And this is 51 years into that journey, and most of this cast were born on that ship. And your sex is not an elective. Breeding is controlled. Everything is controlled. When you're 14 or 15, you have to pick your own apprenticeship, but it might not be approved. So I'm one of the elders. I'm a Councelman. I'm the political knight on the ship. And I'm very unhappy with how the present captain is handling himself. And I'm also having an affair with his wife. And I can tell you, this is all in the pilot. And I'm trying to take over the ship, basically. And there's, again, I'm not here to promote this thing. If I didn't like it, I'll just say benign stuff. This is a really good script, and there's a lot of different levels playing. Your sociological levels, the question of, you put 600 really smart people in a tin can for 100 years, they're going to evolve their own way. And they're going to come up with a lot of things themselves as opposed to what went on Earth. And we have no communication with Earth. We freeze in 1963. We don't know the Beatles, the Kennedy assassination, Vietnam, Watergate, 9/11, nothing. No racial segregation is still in our minds. It's 63. The sexual revolution never happened. But the Kennedys were so forward thinking that our second in command is an African American, because he wanted it the way he wanted it. The Kennedy brothers were 30 years ahead of everybody else. So it's a very interesting concept.
So how did they pick the original crew?
They were scientifically picked with computer programs and algorithms and all that crap as to what their DNA and I don't. Don't say the DNA, because I don't know that for a fact. It might not even have been.
It was discovered, but not. Yeah. You couldn't sequence it.
But they hand-picked that crew as carefully as they possibly could at the time.
Well, I think
for
the military had a lot of
reasons.
experience.
Say it again.
The military had a lot of experience hand-picking.
Yes. And the military totally handled the real Orion project, which this is kind of modeled off. So that was a totally militarized project, and it almost really happened. This almost really happened.
So what about the clothes?
63. Hair 63. Women are it's still a chauvinistic society. Women in 1963, 80% of American women expected to get married and have a family. There weren't that many female lawyers, doctors in those days. Think about it. Their goal in life was to take care of a man. So you have this like Mad Men meets Star Trek meets Lost meets. It's a pretty fascinating concept.
So is this really like more of an ecosystem or a microcosm, really, of you're trying to talk about different caste systems? Because I think they mentioned something about people who were born on the lower levels never get to move above the lower levels.
Caste systems developed on their own over the 51 years. They developed. As I'm saying, this is an evolution of 600 people. So caste systems developed. The lower decks people, we're the assholes upstairs. You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting question. And it wasn't designed that way. Caste systems developed in the flight, and in about a year, it's going to be the point of no return. We can't get back. So people are starting to panic. There's subversive. Some people want to go home. There's sabotage. There's a murder. And there are twists that I can't mention that are so interesting and so unbelievable. And I'm not allowed to mention. This is a big one in particular.
So statistically speaking, there should be about 6 gay people on the crew.
No, there should be. And Phil has to answer that. There's a specific answer. They didn't include gay people for a specific reason, but after the first generation of children being born, right, there has to be, right? So, yeah, that's an amazing thing. That when Phil comes, he'll explain that, because that was one of my first questions also, And they didn't. And again, it was 1963, you know? So, shit, in 1963, psychiatrists were like trying to cure it. I mean, people didn't know what the hell they were talking about, you know? So,
The murder isn't just a catalyst to start exploring.
no, both things, and even a third element. There was never homicide on this ship. It was never even thought of that would happen with this group of people, and everyone is just shocked. So, and then when you find out what is, like, again, I can't do this reveal, but when you find out what's really going on, it's really mind-blowing, as you'll see when you see, you know, when you watch it.
How many episodes are going to be in the first season?
I think they've only approved 6 so far, and they spent like millions and probably tens of millions of dollars on the sets. I've been doing this for 38 years. I've never seen sets like this. They have a beach, like in a studio, like a whole beach that's on this ship. It's basically like a half battleship and half cruise ship. Like it looks like a battleship, but has the amenities of a cruise ship.
That's actually what I was going to ask about. Is you were talking about you're the political leader, and then what's the division between, or how does the power structure work between the political leader versus the military?
That's a great question. It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, that was a source
I
of
don't
tension
know.
in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I don't know. But I imagine that we have the final say. The councilmen have the say. We're the political body on that ship. And I think we can replace... Matter of fact, I do know the answer to that. I wasn't thinking. Yes, we can vote the captain out. But, you know, the whole council has to agree. I don't know whether it's by 50%, 70, 51%, 75%, 100%. I don't remember. But yes, we are, you know, we have the final say.
So any aliens?
I can't say yet. I can't say. But they're going to be. These people are going to encounter things they had no idea they were going to encounter. Let's put it that way. Situations they had no idea they were going to encounter.
For those who haven't watched the teaser, how would you describe it in 5 words or less?
The trailer, enticing, descriptive, and 1963.
The girl that gets killed, is she lower strata, middle, top?
She's upper. She's upper. She's a daughter and a sister, and she's having an affair. She's having sex with someone for lower decks, and everyone has birth control implants under their skin. Early Norplant. So reproduction is totally planned and controlled. But they can have sex with whoever they want. You know.
Would it be accurate to say that with this caste system that is just round one for those from the upper decks?
Absolutely. Absolutely, except for my character, of course. No, I'm only kidding.
What actor of all the actors on the episode or show do you have the most interaction, the most interesting interactions with?
Trisha, because I'm having an affair with her, and I'm trying to get information about her husband, and she's trying to get information out of me for her husband.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
you know.